Billy Ricketts lost his own home in Helene's.
Clearwater Beach, Florida, that's west of Tampa, as the rainfall continues and the bands of Hurricane Melton start to come ashore.
Melton right now aiming for Sarasota. Landfall could happen as a Category 3 between 8 and 10:30. Now we're in downtown Fort Myers, where I want to show you some of those impacts. One of the main ones being the storm surge. So as you can see, along the Caloosahatchee River, we can start to see the waves already making their way onto land. Currently, we could see the high tide or the surge go up to 6 feet. Right now, it's at about 2.5 feet above the normal high tide. On top of that, we have the winds, Brett, that we also really have to worry about here. Over 340,000 customers in the dark across Florida. If you look up, you can see these palm trees. They're already giving way to the wind. If you drive around Fort Myers, you see them knocked down throughout the neighborhoods. And to make it all worse, some people, they've already had tornado damage. And I'm talking about some homes with roofs already knocked off.
Yeah, Laura, good evening to you. And you see the Manatee River behind you is raging with up to 80-mile-an-hour winds that have occurred here in this part of the Gulf Coast. We are not too far from Tampa. In fact, on the other side of the Manatee River is the mouth of Tampa Bay. And the landfall, as you said, could happen in the next hour, 8 o'clock, give or take a few minutes. And it could come over right here or just to the south. But the impacts are going to be huge all over as whipping winds and rain sideways continues the ebb and flow. Now on the coastline, up to 10 to 15 feet of storm surge is expected. Thousands of people have left these areas over the past 2 days. The mayor of Tampa saying if you don't leave the coastline, you will die. An extreme amount of National Guard has been ordered, over 6,000 members by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and there are thousands of utility workers all the way from Canada and the mainland U.S. awaiting to help in the aftermath of this system. Not just the coastline, inland as well. Orlando could see wind gusts 90 to 100 miles an hour, and then the other side of this great peninsula on the Atlantic, they're already seeing impacts and tornadoes. Can you believe that? Huge tornadoes that have come down all the way from the southern area of Florida up here. Just amazing. Naples, Fort Myers, all of these areas, unfortunately, are under this hurricane warning as no longer are we preparing. We are in the thick of it. This storm, Milton, is waging war right now on the state of Florida, as you see.
Ashore, and yet this is only a Category 3 storm? I mean, I don't know how you're even standing in place now.
I tell you what, Laura, what I've done and what this team has done, we have flanked ourselves in between vegetation to my left, to my right. We have vehicles right there. We're lit by the Fox Weather Beast. My cameraman, Lloyd Alford, is tucked deep into an SUV so that he's not taking all the debris and all the wind and the rain. So it is a strategy, logistical. We started our day in Tampa, went down to Sarasota, and moved up here. We've been documenting all of the elements and head on a swivel this entire time. But we're not going to lose our lives in this, no doubt. Everything is a strategic move, for sure, to bring this broadcast to America. So you can see all of this devastation and the ravaging happening right now by Milton. First responders are not out here. They cannot be right now. So if they are watching, this is what's happening. Mile-an-hour winds and violent water pummeling the Matlacha Bridge. And this is Sanibel Island, where floodwaters appear to be swallowing a house. And in Fort Myers, a tornado ripping through neighborhoods, obliterating properties. The winds are ferocious, the storm surge is unstoppable, and Floridians are worried. Let's go to senior correspondent Steve Harrigan in Tampa. Steve.
Jesse, we're seeing rain come down just in sheets now. The wind's starting to pick up as well. We could see anywhere from 6 to 16 inches of rain here. It's been going steady for really the past 6 hours. The storm surge is another concern here in the Tampa area. This could be a worst-case scenario depending on where the storm actually makes landfall. We could see up to 10 feet of storm surge here, anywhere from 15 feet along other parts along the coast. When it gets over 40 miles per hour, they can't come out and rescue. Right now, it seems to be hovering right about that range. They still have.
We just had a huge pine tree fall on our vehicles. So right after a live report, we're all okay here in West Bradenton on the Manatee River behind me. You can't see it. That's where I was reporting from all night tonight, where you could see the swells coming up on the river on the other side here of Tampa Bay. And as I walked off the camera to get in the vehicle to just try to grab a moment of solace, this tree just collapsed, as you can see. And there is debris and vegetation flying around, thus all of this equipment right now. Some of the heaviest winds that we've experienced have come in here in the past 45 minutes. Hurricane gust force winds with intense rain, and it hurts with all these pieces of vegetation that comes off the trees. Hits you right in the face.
Here, Jesse, we're still gusting anywhere between 70 and 90 miles an hour on the north side of the eye wall. The center, as Jesse mentioned, made landfall Milton at 8:30 Eastern at Siesta Key. That's just down to our south. You get into Manatee and Sarasota counties, and from there south is where you're having these surge issues, because as the center goes in, the winds are still blowing offshore because we're on the north side, so the winds are coming around like this, and we still have an east wind for the most part, blowing the water into the Gulf.
Now, the storm surge is pushing in south of this landfall point. There you see the line coming in right near Sarasota. Landfall was declared at 8:30, and the circulation like this is coming around. So this Gulf water is being pushed over the coast here south of Sarasota, Venice, Englewood, down to Charlotte County here just north of Fort Myers. We'll look at the tide gauges of Fort Myers in a moment. And Tampa is getting blasted, Tampa and St. Petersburg, by the northern eye wall right now. So that's where the intense winds are on the north side of this unusual hurricane. There's your landfall, Siesta Key, which is southwest of Sarasota. Category 3 hurricane with 120 mile an hour winds. 8:30 p.m. was the landfall time. Okay, let's look at Tampa, St. Petersburg. This blue box tells you an excessive wind or extreme wind warning. Extreme wind warning. Tampa, St. Petersburg, Bradenton, down just north of Sarasota.